What's going on, everybody? So today we're going to have Michelle from channel Michelle 362. We're going to find out what the channel name is, kind of introduce her to some of the people in the community. And here we go. Here's Michelle. How's it
How you
going?
doing? Good. How are you?
Sorry about all the technical stuff today. I mean, I thought,
It's all good. It's all good.
yeah, no worries.
Mm.
Um, so what? Why the name channel for the channel? Name for the channel.
Well, the name Michelle 362 actually, obviously my name Michelle, but the 362 was a lucky number I went with back in high school. It was a mathematical number, so I just went with that one. Prior though to that channel name, it was actually Layla Donovan, I believe, if I remember correctly. An old YouTube channel, but the name, everything else, the image had again a complete overhaul, and decided to do my own crafting in model building, where I show that, then have a game channel. You know, nobody was really watching the gaming aspect, so I decided to take my talent and show it live to basically the world.
No, that's really cool. I've seen some of the stuff you do, and we'll kind of talk about it as we go along here.
Mm-hmm.
But so you started out in crafting. What kind of other stuff have you crafted?
Oh man. I in the past, well, the first thing I started in was model building, which was when I was younger. Took that up first. Then I went into doing paintings. I did some ceramics. Tried my hand at stained glass, but just little odds and ends here and there for the crafting and arts and crafts. When I was just a kid, I mean, nothing special to it. But over the course of time, I started to get better at it, and here I am now. It's not anything special. It was just something I learned over the course of time. Nothing
So
new, special.
what's your favorite thing to do then?
My whole lot in life now is just build models. I've built from tanks, planes, trucks, cars, even radio control cars like over here. So that's all I do now. Still a hobbyist, but I took a hiatus from. I actually took a model building hiatus back in, oh my god, early 2000, because I had other problems going on with my family, and that was just basically it. And I stopped. So.
So how long have you actually been in, like, decades or just a short time?
Oh no, decades.
Decades. No, that's really cool. So how did you get started?
Uh, it's kind of funny because when it started back in the 80s, early 80s, I'd say about 1981. Um, my mom and I at the time, we were living in a little diverse community, and there was a family who were big into model ships, airplanes, just like nautical or air stuff. So one day, I was I was a little squirt back then. I took an interest in it, and I looked at the ship. I was like, oh, it looks really cool. So the neighbor goes and says, you like what you see? I was like, yeah. So one day he actually taught me how to start building. He actually took he had a model airplane kit. It was my first one. So my very first model airplane kit. I didn't even paint it. I just assembled it as is, all plastic, the same plastic color they came in, and that was it. Um, and then so his son actually came in and says, well, maybe one day you should try painting them, bring the color out. And I was like, okay, me and paint never went hand in hand very well. The only problem I had with painting at the time when I was a kid, I always, without fail, always had paint on my fingers. It didn't matter what I was touching, because by the time I went home and touched something, I had paint, enamel paint, on my mom's dining room table. She almost killed me on that one too. So it was it's just the way I started. So I did that for a while, and then after a while, I tried other avenues. Arts and crafts. I did some caning back, way back when. That was not too terrible. Um, but my whole lot in life was just model building. Once you get used to something and you try different things and you experiment with different things, it just basically you get to find out what you like the most.
No, that's
And
very, very true. Very
mhm.
true. I agree with that. Um, so what are you working on lately?
Oh, well, from John Paul, I won the contest, the 1,000 sub giveaway. Um, I actually got the Chevy Nova 2 kit right now. Recently, I am working on, um, which it's going to be a sedan delivery. Color scheme for that's going to be a cherry black, and basically the car itself is going to be a general idea would be a hearse, but with a cherry black color. Basically a modified engine, just like a little tiny modified engine, which is going to be really cool. Um, and that's the only thing I'm doing now as of recent. I know in the past videos I've done, well, some of you have already seen, which was the Diamond Rio. Um, that was interesting. That
That,
almost didn't make it, huh?
that was the Mack truck, right?
The Diamond?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That turned out really, really good, by the way.
Thank you.
I and that was like really interesting to see how you put all the colors together. Because is that the scheme on the box too?
Well, here's a funny story about the whole thing. When I actually started doing that truck kit, now there's a story behind why I built this Diamond Rio and why I put a Sinclair logo on both doors. Um, Going back into the 1950s, I'll give you a bit of a backstory about that truck and where the idea and everything came from. My great grandfather, at the time, he was actually an architect. He was a designer, drafter, fun thing. So back then, he ended up doing. He built the Sinclair gas stations. Now, given the fact that I didn't even know he actually built these gas stations until one day my mom and I had sat down in the living room. We were watching these old clips, and one of them happened to be the Sinclair gas station. That and the Carvel ice cream centers, going back in the 1950s. And but what piqued my interest was the Sinclair gas stations because that was something he worked on. So I figured, you know what, if I built a vintage truck like a Diamond Rio, representing in that time frame or close to it, was to do that color scheme. Originally, I was gonna actually paint the whole truck with the forest green. However, now for the cab, the hood, and the fenders were done with almost like a metal flake green on top of a base coat, which is the forest green, and then the white and everything else was supposed to accent it to make it pop out a little bit more. Uh, in light note, um, I was a bit concerned when I started building the kit because for a long time, like for me, building truck kits was something. It was always a challenge. Like I've built truck kits in the past. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. However, um, this particular model truck kit, I figured I'd do something different. For an example, okay, now everybody knows. Now, for the love of God, I don't know why, but when you have like AMT companies who make a tool design for the smokestack for the truck, sometimes it's best to customize it the way you want it. I mean, it's okay to look nice in the kit, but the kit, I don't like doing
Like
that.
like taking the chrome and stuff off, right? Is that what you're
Stripping
talking
it.
about?
Yeah, I done that with the chrome. I actually used an still do it to this day, an old technique which if some of you remember Scale Auto Enthusiast, there was an old technique they used to tell you if you want to get rid of the chrome and if it looked really hokey or shoddy, you take bleach, you dunk the chrome part into the bleach, and it'll eat off the chrome entirely.
Bleach. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one.
Well, it was an old trick in Scale Auto Enthusiast, and I decided to use that technique over the. Well, I learned this one when I got more into the model building series. And as far as everything else, just came knowledge. I mean, doing this for a long time. Um, there's another technique for paint. Now, the best paint remover. Now, I know everybody thinks it's kind of like a. You can use an oven cleaner, but not any kind. But if you have like a kit you don't like the paint, or if you got an old kit that you want to repaint, always make sure you get the Mr. Muscle oven cleaner because that will remove the old paint if you want to repaint a surface on the kit or what have you. Don't use brake cleaner because it'll melt it. A
Yeah,
lot of things, yeah. Don't ever use brake cleaner.
I've heard horror stories about brake cleaner.
Oh, look, there's a plastic body. Wait a minute, why is it sagging all of a sudden? Roof caves in and everything else just goes with it.
Or the paint's there and the body's gone. I've heard all kinds of stories on that.
Oh yeah.
So the question I have is, was that airbrushed or spray can?
Which one? Oh, the diamond?
The truck, yeah.
The diamond was done with, actually, believe it or not, spray can.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I personally will never get those kind of results from a spray can. I'm not a tagger, so you know
I
am
am actually.
But you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I can't get thought process around a spray can, but an airbrush, I can do just about anything with a posh H.
Well, yeah, there you go.
But that's why I asked that, because some people are really good with an airbrush, and I just wasn't sure which way you were, right?
Actually, I go, but well, let me just answer that question in a different aspect here. I'm not gonna say go both because that's kind of giving the wrong idea here.
Okay.
Actually, I can do spray can and I can do airbrush. And believe it or not, I actually have something here next to me that was done by airbrush, and it was a courtesy of SDM Productions. And I'm banking on to get the alien one too, but this one was actually done by airbrush.
Oh, there you go. Is that a black?
It's actually this is a black with a bit of an airbrush red, and then on the base I did a representation of two different reds, but kind of make it look like a blood, like as if the chest popper came out of the person's chest. So basically, this was all airbrushed, but this is a resin cast, which actually I'm pretty impressed with the results, considering the fact that I do have a reference for this. It was in the YouTube video I did for this was the Bull Alien from the Aliens movie. So this is the baby version of that alien, which was not too bad. I like it pretty much. And I've been hounding SDM for the for the Queen alien, believe it or not. So.
No, I mean, that's really, really cool. Have you been getting into figures at all?
It's kind of funny. I've always been into figures. I've done some in the past. I've done a Phantom of the Opera that, well, was my first experiment with an airbrush for the Phantom of the Opera, and I still have it, but it's not like it's not. I have to reglue the hand and everything else. It's been glue gave up after a while, but I've done figures in the past. I've done several. But as far as like selling them, no. I've always made them for me because it's something I like to do. Never really sold any of my models either.
You haven't done what? Sold any?
Nope, not any of my models.
Oh, that's cool. I usually end up giving mine away. To like,
There's one I will not give away, and I'm not gonna move it too much, but the exhaust I still have to fix on it. But if you look where my finger is pointing, if I can bring it, let me bring it closer if I can possibly do that without trying to bring the computer with me. But like right over here, if I can get to it. Now, I do have to remount the exhaust because one of the
oh,
exhausts came off. But this is one I will not, cannot, will not part. The full Tire and Malone toy hauler and the drag truck. Funny story. This was all hand the paint. Well, especially the figure, but this was all hand painted.
you
And the
talking about the stripes?
yep, the stripes are
No, that's
hand painted.
cool. It look, it has that worn look to it, so it looks really, really cool.
Yeah,
That's really good.
yeah. I did have a bit of an issue with it. Apparently, one day my cat got a little destructivist and took out one side of the exhaust. I gotta go back and fix that. Everything else basically was all done in reference of Tyra Malone, which I've always been a big fan of him when I was a kid. So I basically decided to get the kit. It's a, I bought them together. I don't know. I don't even remember how much I spent, but it was pretty penny. It's my second Tyra Malone drag truck, believe it or not. I did have it. I did have the other one, which was the Super Boss, but I decided to go with the Bandit because the Bandit I happen to like better than the Super Boss. So uh, that's neither here or there. But the one I had, the Super Boss, actually broke during the time I was actually moving. So
I mean, is that's really, really good. By the way, I mean, it's pretty impressive how you're getting all those kids to kind of code. You can see the talent there, and it's really, really impressive.
yeah.
So how do you like doing the figures? Is it easy for you? Hard for you? Is it just a different challenge?
Well, you know, in the perfect honesty, like if I were to do the figure has to depend. Like each figure tells a different story.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, usually if I look at a figure, I have to go with a certain story that goes with it. For me to do a figure and paint it and willy nilly, but there's no story to it. It doesn't say anything. Not just to somebody, like a regular, person, a regular viewer. It's not going to tell somebody the actual story behind it. For me, I'll be honest, I am my own worst critic at times because I usually have to find there's certain things for my builds have a reason, and if I don't have a story for it, then I have to find one to make it fit, or vice versa. For an example, figures. It depends on how you want to really do it with the element. Like for an example, like if you have let's say a Nord warrior. Now you have to accent it to that kind of era to where how did this happen? How did that happen?
Yeah.
You have to work it in, and if you don't tell the story exactly the way it is, there's going to be inaccuracies or pretty you know some bad results will end up happening, and then people are going to be like, wait a minute, this is not period correct, or the story's off, or something is going to be off, and you don't want to have that problem. It's just a story of my life.
So my other question is, how does figure painting help you with the model kits?
you know it's kind of weird. It intertwines. It depends. Like I could take a small figure like the woman I show here on the side of the truck. I can blend her in to that time period.
Yeah.
Now, if I were to take a big figure, okay, now a big figure versus a model car kit, no, that's entirely different. there's no correlation between the two to become one. But if I get a 1/25th scale figure, I can actually work with it. Then I could be like, okay, 1/25th scale figure with a car. Hey, I can work with it. I can make something maybe sci-fi or something, out of the ordinary. It depends on the creativity, I want to put into it.
So I find figures kind of help me with interiors in cars.
They do
Kind of
too.
because you can
Mm-hmm.
blend it, you can highlight it, you can dry brush it, and it kind
Mm-hmm.
of. I know with me, the interior in a car is like night and day better, just from some of the figure painting steps.
Yeah. Even like I've been to model contests. One back in 1998. I'll give a perfect example. This guy he was a good artist. I don't even know if he's still around, but um, he actually took a 1/25th scale. If I remember correctly, he did a Hemi under glass, and he actually made a figure to sit into the car. But the way he did it, he didn't like use your basic watercolor, or he didn't even use any enamel. He used pastels, which I found very interesting. I never got too much involved with the pastel aspect because that's basically a different area on its own. So, but I like to work on, things, try to integrate things together, or maybe not. There's just not much there.
Well, and it's kind of crazy how different like painting mediums there are, right? Like paint, acrylic, gloss, craft
Yeah.
paint, army painter paint,
Mm-hmm.
and how they all can kind of work together or not work together. Just depends on your skill level.
Yeah. And if you make it
You
clash, it looks ugly.
you know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like
I
it
actually, huh?
and it's kind of crazy, all the different techniques you can learn that way.
Mm, yeah. I did that with a model tank once, and this one guy, a long time ago, this maybe 2001, but a couple months after 9/11, um, I built a German tank up. Now, I figured, I like building tanks as well, but don't get me wrong, it's only a minimal thing for tanks. So I got bored one day. I decided to paint, build this German tank up, paint it, what have you. And I did all I could, weather it out, just sand it. Got a little wear and tear on it. I figured I'd take it to my friend's hobby shop at the time when he was alive, and says, "Hey, Scott, do me a favor. Can you just put this up on display?" It was just something I just slapped together and painted. And so I get a guy who was a tank builder. He was a hardcore model tank builder. He looked at my German tank. He's like, "I'm curious who built this German tank." And I looked at him. I says, "Actually, I did." He's like, "Wait, you built that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did." He's like, he asked me about the German gray because they usually paint the tanks with the gray, with the figures and stuff. He's like, "How did you get all that to work? Like, how did you get the gray, the Panzer Gray, to actually be weathered out?" I says, there was nothing to it really. I just light sanded, and the figures and everything else were just basically look like all greased up, and that was it. I mean, there was no explanation. I just did it, and I was like, I didn't think about that. I just went with the flow.
And that's kind of it's kind of when you're first starting out. I mean, you're kind of learning techniques as you go, but when you first start out, you're just trying stuff
Mm-hmm.
and seeing what hits the canvas and sticks, right?
Oh God, yeah. You got to. You have to mess with it a little bit. So,
So how long have you been on YouTube?
well, let's see. My YouTube channel, I think, if I remember correctly, I started in 2014.
So
Or
you've been doing it for a while. For a
yeah, but I
while.
didn't get yeah, but I didn't get a lot of views or anything. I mean, back then it was just like I was always contemplating it, and it's a funny story because originally, before the name change and everything else, like I said before, the overhaul, the whole channel, I only had about like maybe what 50, 60 subscribers. And then when I started changing everything after my YouTube hiatus problems, I came back to YouTube, but building on YouTube and different name change and everything else. It's just like, you know what? It's time, and I resurrect this channel somehow.
And you're getting pretty good response now, right?
I'm getting more. I'm starting to get, right now I'm at 100 subscribers. And I get some good comments, like, awesome job or, what have you, and then the truck, and the Diamond Rio just recently, so, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just slow stuff. It's not like a big, pop up.
So was the Diamond Rio truck for the group build that they just finished a little bit ago?
Oh no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no, 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 not no, not the group build. No, that one was on my own accord. That was that was done for me, and like if I join into like the Wednesday night hangouts, I just I'll either talk or I'll stand here and there, watch, and do the best I can to interact as much as I possibly can. But
You mean laugh at Mopar? I mean,
I gotta be honest. I Mopar is awesome, but sometimes when insert foot in mouth, we can't help but picking on them.
I know, I know. It's yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Nah, that's funny. Um,
mm,
so that's really good that you're getting a lot better response, and hopefully a bunch of people that watch this today also subscribe to your channel.
eh,
Um,
true. Mm.
so what do you, after the Nova, are you going to try to do some more models? You going to be heading in figures? You going to try to incorporate stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. Actually, after I get done with the Nova, I do have one particular project I am going to be working on. Come to think about it, it was my first model kit. If you remember in my last, I think the last stream, that one that said the Cruising USA kit that's in that shrink wrap.
I think so. I didn't
It
watch the whole thing. I watched part of it, but I
okay,
think I remember you talking about it.
but there's a model kit next to my spray booth that I'm going to be working on after the Nova. That one is going to be a complete full. Basically, originally I was going to do as a drag car, but because it was my very first model kit way back when, it's going to be done up basically vintage, like complete everything original. Nothing. Basically, it's going to be built out of the box, but with the exact colors to that car, and a possible bare metal foil. I've been hearing that's been kind of questionable about the bare metal foil aspect of it, though. So, I'd like to do
So
that
what
up.
do you, what do you mean by that? Bare metal, or is it just something you haven't tried, or something?
No, bare metal foil. I've used so many times on certain projects, but from as of lately, what I heard is that the chemical something now about the chemical mixtures of the film that you apply on to do the chrome trim. Apparently, it had gotten pretty bad. So uh, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try it out before I even remotely put it onto the car because if it has gotten bad, I won't use it. Basically, what they're saying, the original version of the bare metal foil was thicker, or not thicker, thinner. It was easier to cut. Now they're saying it's thicker, which means who knows? You're supposed to use a sharp X-Acto blade for it, but even if I don't know. I gotta see how that works. If if they say it went bad because of the thickness of it, I don't know. I have to give it a shot. I mean,
I to be honest, I've never used bare metal foil. I always end up using like a small paintbrush and just painting the letters and stuff on there. That's what I end up doing. Works
yeah.
what works for me, right? And
Mm,
I don't, and I have a hard time putting bare metal foil in the fridge or the freezer or wherever the heck you're supposed to put it. You know what I mean? Like wife has rules.
uh, Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because a long time ago I had no issues. There was a kit. Oh my god, I bought a kit from a friend of mine and I actually bare metaled it. But there's a few kits in my past channels I did show some of the kits that had it on there. I yeah. None of
Yeah,
that glue doesn't. The BMF, that's one of those type of glues you just want to like take into the nearest garbage can.
oh, okay.
I'm just I've been I hate to say it, but in truth, I've been more of a tester's person. Sorry, I'm guilty of the whole thing right there.
So are you talking about the red tube with
Rust-Oleum that bought out Tester's Corp, yes.
yeah the
Hmm.
yeah. How, and that's what you're using to put the models and stuff together, right?
Hmm. That
That's
or
impressive, but
if I really want it, because some projects I build with the models, like if I have to do a complete, like for an example, if I have to build a whole truck frame and I want to have it sit quicker, I don't use the rubber cement. I'll use like a Zap-A-Gap, which is a CA adhesive.
yeah.
Um, Usually that's only good if you're gonna bond metal and plastic together. Unfortunately, in my case,
Hey, Cliff, what are you talking about the duct tape?
HVAC tape.
Is that what he's talking about?
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, it actually that works too. Huh?
Oh,
Well, we all
oh.
know Rust-Oleum is took over testers.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that yet. We'll see. I think it's still a little too early to see what they're going to keep, get rid of. You know what I mean?
Verdict is still out there right now. I be perfectly honest here. Anything that Rust-Oleum does, don't get me wrong. Okay, I've dealt with Rust-Oleum one too many times in the past, but it just sometimes it's hit or miss. And even if you paint it, you got to be very careful that it doesn't even crack on you. That's one thing I've learned over the years.
Oh, from the spray cans and stuff.
And if it does crack, then you're gonna either have to use Mr. Muscle to take it off,
Yeah.
or B, you have to try. You could do another option, which is you can always use a lot of elbow grease and sand off the paint as far as you can, but that don't work. So,
Now wait a minute, Terry. Wait a
huh?
minute here. The the ISIL or the snow you're using that?
Uh, Wait, what? He's using icicles?
Does that really work?
Don't look at me. I don't even use stuff like that.
I'm hoping he
No, man. That's not a good idea.
works works good
Uh,
on maybe gas tank bands.
I think it says works good on gas tank bands. Yeah. Well,
Okay, I could see that. That's a good.
logical. Yeah, logical.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I just had to get a little clarification on that one. But that's a
Yeah,
good idea. I
craft
learned
paint
so
is
much
work.
doing these.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
He,
Mopar, what are you? You're trolling now, I think.
he's trolling.
Graph paint is much better than 2K two stage paint, base and clear. I think you're smoking crack.
Puff puff pass anybody?
Yeah, I mean, what the heck, dude?
Sorry, Mopar. Or wait a minute. Or are we sorry? I don't know anymore.
Pencil for decorate, yeah. No, it's like I said, I learned so much from this community, and sometimes you get like a bit of information. You got to know more. You just got to pull the information out.
You got yes, and I've had I gotta be perfectly honest about one thing though. There's one model builder I was friends with till one day. and somebody asked him an interesting question: how he did his models.
Okay.
And I lost respect for this guy because he started to go from being a nice person to a complete pompous ass. Because I built with this guy before. I've entered in contests with the guy before. And one day he just told one of the other mod builders, like, oh, it's none of your business what I use now. It's like, really?
Yeah,
He,
it's sad that some people are like that.
yeah. And then
It's
then
really sad.
it is. And then they, and there's other ones that gets to a point of being shallow where they try to say they did something and in truth they didn't do it. Like they'll say they built something but they didn't, and they probably don't know how to build, so they're gonna like take credit for something. I try to stay away from that. Uh,
So have you had a lot of drama on YouTube yet, being a woman modeler?
you know,
You've been pretty PG.
I've been pretty good. Actually, no. First time I started my YouTube channel, I did have a few trolls here and there when I first started out. That in itself was a bit difficult, but being a female model builder, at times it can. I mean, to some, it can be a bit intimidating to some people. Not all, but there's some people out there who think that females shouldn't be building models. And
We don't listen to those people though.
oh, I don't either. I just ignore them, and I look at them like, oh, what are you talking about there, huh? But
Yeah, and that's I've been trying to. There's a couple like Sarah Jane I want to get to come on here.
mhm.
There's going to be a couple figure painters coming through. Um, but yeah, I've been trying to promote women modelers for a while because they're out there. They don't
Oh,
put
they're
them
out there.
out there because they get attacked on YouTube,
Oh,
and
they get.
I don't understand it.
You know what it is, and I want to make it perfectly clear here, and this is not intended to go as an insult or anything, but in the model building community, it's not just based on guys building models. There are also females that build models as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, it's
the
true.
thing, yeah, and the thing is, there's the guys out there, the ones that are like all serious about model building. They think the mentality for those type of people, they think that women shouldn't be building models, that it's all a guy thing. Those are the type of people that you don't want to really associate yourself with, because they're the ones. Do I dare say that they're toxic? Those are the people that think that, oh well, if a woman can build a model, and I've seen this happen. I was part of a model club, and I wasn't just the only female there. There was another woman who did a figure of a Ghost in the Shell, the chief from Ghost in the Shell, and so one day she joins up with this, the model club I was with, and they looked at us. They basically pushed us away, and then they had all the guys, the hardcore guys, just like there. So it made us both feel, you know, I can sit back now and look and say that it's, for female model builders, it's okay to build a model. It's not generally just for guys. And that model building is basically co-op. It, you could be a teenage girl and you can build, hell, you could build a
Yeah,
snap tight. You could do a glue on. You
and
could push
and
your
and
limits to level 3.
and the point is, they're still part of the community. It shouldn't matter. They're having fun doing their thing.
It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're having fun building this. That's all I'm saying. Is like, as long as you can have fun building it, do it. Don't be afraid. Don't let somebody tell you.
Yeah,
Don't let somebody tell you different and then get discouraged. Because then at that point, who wins? other person, the person that told you can't do it, but you can do it.
No, yeah, it's very true. And like I said, I don't understand where it comes from. I don't. It's this hobby should be for everybody. And YouTube, you should be able to post whatever you want on YouTube. But we're in that sensitive society at the moment, so everybody, I don't know. It's just crazy, and it needs to stop because women are just as valuable in this hobby as guys are. That's my
Exactly.
opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
yeah,
That's
that's
right.
how it should be. That's how it
That's
should
right.
be.
Best include all.
Yes, that's important because you know what? Like I said, it doesn't matter who you are, but we're all artists. Mm.
Okay, sorry. My computer froze for a minute.
Now it happens sometimes too.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. There
well,
we go.
that's a lot. Terry's right about that. It's just yeah. That's how some guys think in mentality. It's just not.
Guys, you know what? I'll yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I know some. I know there's some people out there that don't like the idea I'm stepping on their toes, but
Yeah, yeah. That's a great
hmm
one, Dustin. Great one.
you have to build what you want to do. I mean, I'm sorry, but times have changed. I mean, way back when, I mean, women weren't allowed to do anything except cook, clean, and do dishes. And now it's different. Now society and role reversal has changed.
Hey, Mopar. I know, buddy. I was there. I promise. HPI guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually seen a couple of his streams. HPI guy is pretty good. He gets he gets like the new releases before everybody else does.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. All right. So we've hit about the 45-minute mark. Is there anything? Did you want to talk about the RC hobby that you have? Are you painting any of those bodies or anything? Or you just
And that's actually this Cloudbuster. Well, I could show one. I actually did. The Cloudbuster I also did too, but uh, this thing hasn't ran in like I don't know for forever. But I do have one here I can show that I still use to this day. And this one I actually did. It's a Tamiya. It's a little bit dusty. And this has been all customized. It actually started off with a small stock version. Originally, it was a pickup. It was a Ford F-150. I actually made it into a stand-up racer. And what I'm going to do is, in here, these actually have workable lights. I just got to pull the pins out. I'm actually missing one pin, but that's neither here or there. And if I can get the last one open, here we go. Now, I'll just open up the body real quick. So this one basically has lights in it. So I got to make sure I got everything in here. So you can see inside the wiring where the
okay?
lights would actually go. I actually did all that there and here. And then I took the stock components out and I ran in some aftermarket suspension from Tamiya,
Okay.
battery cover, and basically everything else. The only thing that's still stock on here, believe it or not, is going to be the chassis, which is this right here. But everything else is all aftermarket, though. I used to do a lot of custom work with these, with Tamiya kits and over the years, but I don't do them anymore. I only do it. I do RC vehicles once in a blue moon. And I do have a vintage RC10T, which is actually sitting behind me, but that's that's for a different time. I actually do have that one posted up on one of my videos.
Oh, see, yeah, people have to go check it out.
Well, yeah, and it's just I've been a big collector on vintage and stuff like that, but I try to do the best I can to keep up with the times now. But that's all I can really amend for. But
So, what's your thoughts on having a stash? Do you have like the giant like toy hobby store stash, or is it like 25 kits on the wall?
you mean besides the one downstairs on my big shelf?
Some people have different opinions on stashes and whatever. I just thought I'd see what yours was on it.
Let's see. In logical aspect of things, let's see. I like to have more than 25 kits on a wall. I rather have. I I like to build, so for me, having 25 kits is not enough.
Okay.
I need to at least finish at least to go about to 50 to 100. However, I don't have the room for all 100, so I have to go about to 50.
No, that's cool. I'm probably 75 to 100, and that's just model car stuff. Warhammer, I'm completely off the deep end. But
Yeah, I've done. I don't know. I think over the course of time, with about half of. Well, I actually had more than 50 at one time, but about half of them got broken, and some of them were missing. So.
And some of the, I mean, I've been working on these things lately, and I always give people crap about
That.
doing figures, but I've
But
been
that's
working on this.
awesome.
I've been working on this guy, and then I always give people the hot pink for the color.
Actually,
So,
that's my favorite color.
but I always give that as like the joke. Well, I finally painted something hot pink. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm not done with it by any means. It's for my mother-in-law, so it's not gonna be at the house, but I always give people a bad time about it.
Hey, you know what? You gotta break some stones somewhere.
I don't know. This is just my opinion, but people don't venture out of the three primary colors. You know what I mean? Like it's either red, blue, or yellow, and then you get orange or a purple, and like they don't venture out, and it's just
No. That's the other thing that I'll say real quick though. I mean, if you can, like, when you do stuff or you build something or you do whatever it is, always expand those horizons, because at some point, you never know. I mean, there's new other fun things you can experiment with and things you can work with, and hell, that's game on. In my case, it'd be more like just using metal tubing, make it for aftermarket parts for model cars or trucks or whatever, and call it good.
Do you do a lot of scratch building?
If only I do, but not like all the time. I only do it like when I have to customize something. For an example, like at times I'll kit bash something, I can always like re-engineer, certain kits, to fit the mood or however I want to do it. But I don't, like I said, scratch building is not all the time for me. It's once in a while. Like, I gotta have that desire. Like, if I need to build something, but I know I can't get anywhere else, then I'll just say, okay, I'll just start scratch building it, and then I'll go from there. Bacon, Bacon goes good with everything, by the way.
No, I think she was commenting on the pig.
Oh! I thought. No, I thought you said making bacon by scratch. Oh, never mind.
No, I just if I find something funny, I throw it up on the screen. And now
That's good though.
where did I
Well,
go?
We're like another thing. Mopar's theme is fuzzies. I remember that one.
Wait, what? I must have missed that one.
John Paul will know what that meant. Even SDM will know. Fuzzies. Mopar.
Okay.
Scraping. Okay, so Miguel, Mopar, myself. Or no. Wait. Miguel, SDM, John Paul, myself, and
And
Mopar pick on about fuzzies. Scraping fuzzies. That's what they were. Uh, but yeah.
That's funny. What? Okay, what is this? Are only available for a short time, or the manufacturer goes out of business. Get it while you can. That's a good point, Peter.
Or how about an old model train kit that you can't find anymore that was made from the 1960s?
Yeah, I mean, vintage train stuff is really spendy now.
I have one. I have an Indiana Harbor Belt. I built probably, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Peter. Okay. All right. Cool. Um. Fuzzies in your brain. That's.
Hey, Mopar, don't be mad because you were the one that came up with that concept. We all had to pick on you on that one. Sorry. You gotta count me out of that one.
No, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So we've hit about the hour mark. Did you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I just wanted, like, how long have you been on doing YouTube for?
2015, I think. 14, 15, something like that.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
I
Hmm?
it I kind of got. It's kind of a long story, but I was with everything that happened with my son and wife, and then I had to find an outlet,
Mm.
and then I started doing modeling, and then I started actually watching Chris Cortell's channel. That's who I originally started watching. I only subscribed to one guy, and that's the guy I was watching at first, and then I kind of expanded from there. And then my wife suggested one day that I should, you're kind of getting into this. You should, and if you should try to do it. And I was like, well, I could. And then it just kind of grew from there. And now I'm doing this.
So, okay, so do you also you build figures too, or do you do cars, trucks, a little bit of both?
I do anything on a sprue. That's how I describe that.
That's
Okay.
what I like. Anything with sprue,
And then
sprue and glue.
I got, you know, I got into 3D printing, so now I do stuff like
Oh,
this too.
Darth Vader.
I'll have to turn the other light on, but yeah. Yeah, see here. Check this out.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, this turned out really cool. I couldn't get the lightsaber to print out, so I put a sculpting tool in his hand. You know.
Vader the artist. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I mean, it just looks like it should go, right?
Mm.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, I do. I mean, I've been getting into the Transformer things.
Oh, I used to collect them when I was younger.
Yeah, I've these are WizKid figures. Um,
Ah.
they've got I've got Prime, Megatron, here's Starscream. I started working on that guy last night.
Wow.
And then you get things like this.
That looks like my ex-boyfriend.
I mean, if the computer will cooperate. But yeah, there's things like this I'm slowly going to start working on. But yeah, I mean, these figures, I mean, I find them fun. While I'm waiting on paint to dry or clear coat to dry, I kind of get, I'll start working.
By chance, who makes those figures? What company?
So these are WizKid, D&D, and these are about $20. I've been getting these at one of the local like gaming stores.
Okay.
So, but if you look up WizKid and you just go down the thing, like there's a Zeus that I've done.
Ooh.
I have that really bad habit of getting like 25 figures and then priming them all black and then setting them on a shelf.
Oh, Jesus.
I have that really bad. And then you take like 5 or 6 colors and then you just start putting them on different figures as you're going along. So I'm painting like 6 or 7 figures at a time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, I mean, it's going to be cool when it's all done, but I mean, the face on that guy.
Have you ever done like any Ralpartha?
I don't know what that is. So,
Oh man.
what is that?
Ralpartha, they're white metal figures, and you take a little like super glue, and you glue the parts together. You can either buff them out and then put clear coat to shine them out, or you can paint them. And they're expensive though. They can range anywhere between like I think 50 to like $120 to $200, I think.
That's cool. No, I mean that's cool. I've been doing the Warhammer, the big friggin' giant robot thing that I've been working on for like a year and a half.
Damn.
And that'll be because I had to print out each part, and it's going to be 3 feet tall when it's all done. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm waiting on stencils at the moment, but to do the next steps. But it'll look cool when it's done. It's basically something to just take to shows and just set in the middle of the table because it doesn't go on the edge.
No. You just plop it right dead center. Here you go.
Yeah, that's where mine's going.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Trust me.
Yeah.
I think that basically sums up my questions.
No, and that's cool. And thank you for coming on today. This has been really fun. Hopefully, you get some traction on your channel from this.
You never know. Probably will.
Whoa! Wait!
Huh? No
wait
spring till.
Have you built any Warhammer Titans yet? Okay, so I've done one Night Titan. Okay, but I'm talking. I was just talking about the Warlord Titan. Peter, have you not seen that?
Oh dear.
No spraying till I'm outdoors. Graham McRobert?
McRobert. No, Graham
okay.
McRobert, yeah.
Sorry about the name blotch. I tried. Oh, here. I'll just go get it. Here. I'll. Oh, wait. This will help. Because I can't use. Yeah. Here you go. That's the Warlord Titan. That's the upper body. I still have legs over there that go on top.
Oh my god, that kind of reminds me of that game, the video game, Titan Attack, or something like that.
Yeah, Titan Falls or whatever.
Titanfall, yes. Okay, that's I knew it was Titan something. It just took me a while to remember.
Yeah, see, this is just the exoskeleton. I've actually waiting on stencils for the armor.
Oh wow.
So yeah, this took so long to print out, but it's so impressive.
Huh.
I can't wait to get this thing done. But you know, waiting on parts happens.
It always does.
It's really cool. It's been a super cool, fun project, and I can't wait to. Let's see. I saw that big one, great model. I have the Hiatus Rex to build. A lot smaller than yours, but still. Oh yeah, you wanted to know about the Night Titan, so I've done this one too.
Okay.
Oh, and I just broke it.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's bad. Oh dear Lord.
No, I guess not. See, here's the upper part of what he was just asking for. Oh, my remote. Oh, my thing does not want to work. See, it's just a smaller version of the other one.
Huh.
And it has legs but yeah, I've done this one. I've actually got a couple of these, so I want to do more, but yeah, see?
Yeah, that's nice.
I've got a bunch of the sanding, the texture stuff for the bases. So I got to do that next, but I'm getting better with that kind of stuff.
It'd be kind of cool, if you can do like Robbie the Robot.
Oh yeah, especially from the new show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oh, now you're getting the Night Titan. Yeah, they're cool. They're fun to build. I mean, they're just like a model car kit, but they're they're just
bigger
a
in
little
scale.
Well, I'm not really. I mean, compared to a car, like it's not really much different.
No, it's not.
It's not really much different. I mean,
that'll look better in pink. As Sarah said.
You know what? Don't tempt me. I will do shit like that.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if you did.
I like doing stuff just to throw it against the wall and see if it sticks,
Wait, that'd be Velcro jumping, wouldn't it?
Whatever you got to do.
Hey, look, man. I don't know. I just heard Velcro jumping was the thing or something like that. Yes.
Yeah. Now the chat's kind of. But anyway, if you don't have any other questions, I am actually going to end this. I've got stuff I got to do today. So I'm going to take you off camera and I will talk to you in a couple minutes, okay?
Okay.
So how we do, everybody? That was Michelle 362. Please go over and subscribe to her channel. That would help a lot. Really cool build. She's got a bunch of stuff over there. hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. And it sounds like I think Mopar was doing his afterwards, and I think someone else is doing a show after this. So but I have stuff I've got to get to, so I will check those out later. Next week, I think it's Cliff. Is next week. So I got to look at the calendar, but I think it's Cliff. But I will see you guys next week. Oh, if it'll end. Bye, everybody.